and I'm a marine biologist researching the impacts of microplastic debris on marine animals. Plastic pollution is such an important issue because it has such broad impacts, because plastic breaks down into microscopic pieces. So these pieces of plastic just keep breaking down until they're smaller and smaller and smaller, until they're smaller than a grain of sand, or they're the same size as a cell. So it's really tiny pieces of microplastic in our environment as well. So it's not just the bigger animals that are getting impacted, it's also the small ones at the bottom of our food chain. So animals such as zooplankton, which support pelagic open ocean ecosystems, or worms that live in the seabed and have really important environmental roles there. So what we found was when you've got plastic in the sand, it compromises the worms' energy stores because the plastic's got a low nutritional value.
Plastics break down into smaller and smaller pieces. Now, a microplastic is defined as anything less than 5 millimeters in size. So it's almost an arbitrary term, but the reason we choose 5 millimeters is because then it becomes what we call bioavailable, which means that it is available for biodiversity, the fish and the animals underwater, to eat it. Now, these microplastics can range from 5 millimeters way down to microscopic level as they break down. The little beads in face washes are 50 microns, so they are really small, and fibers from fleeces are really small as well, and they become bioavailable and animals can eat it, and that's basically what a microplastic is. We've just sailed from Falmouth to the Azores and then the Azores to Lanzarote, trawling for plastic and plankton, and it's going to be a really interesting experience to look through the samples we have taken. We've got some great data. There's plenty of plastic in my samples, and I can't wait to take it back to the lab in Exeter and get it under a microscope and really get to grips with what's been going on in our oceans and what impact microplastic pollution is having on marine life out in the North Atlantic.
No one's yet looked for plastic in plankton, well, or inside plankton, so it's quite a hard thing to do, so this is the only way we can do it. So in this sample is loads of gelatinous zooplankton, so some jellies and some salps, and there's also some bits of floating plastic as well. Not good. Loads of jellies and like salps, or are they maybe pelagic tunicates? Plastic. So this has been preserved and this is going to go back to the lab, and we're going to have a look at what types of plankton and plastic we find, and then next we're going to start getting copepods to evacuate their gut, so essentially to produce feces which we can collect in about 2 hours time. There's a really famous fact that every other breath we take is produced from phytoplankton. The oxygen is produced through phytoplankton in our oceans. So I think it's quite easy to forget how important it is in our lives.